What began as a tense standoff near the Scarborough Shoal, a speck of reef in a sea of global ambition, escalated into a modern showdown where missiles weren't needed to tip the balance, only drones, decoys, and nerve. In the next 2 hours, the world watched as a storm rolled in, not just from the sky, but across the waves, through the radios, and down every gun barrel. One wrong move could ignite a regional spark into global fire. This is the story of that near miss, where nations stared each other down, where the next war didn't begin with a bang, but almost did. Before we dive in, like this video and subscribe to our channel. October 3rd, 2025. Time, 2:50 p.m. Location, South China Sea, near Scarborough Shoal. Aboard the USS Ronald Reagan, red alerts erupt across radar displays. Multiple unknowns, inbound fast. Klaxons wail through the steel halls as sailors race to their battle stations. This isn't a drill. Outside, the air is thick and buzzing. Chinese Type 052. D destroyers and the CCG 5000-2. 03 patrol ship are bearing down. Overhead, a Y-8Q sub-hunter sweeps in low, while a pair of J-11B fighters streak through the clouds, fast and aggressive. From the bridge, the captain watches the blips on screen get closer and closer. Someone mutters, "This is real." Every radar ping could mean a target. Every contact, a spark that lights the fuse. On deck, the flight crew secures F-818 jets as the carrier pivots into the wind. A nearby Poseidon aircraft radios in. Contacts confirmed. Off the starboard bow, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, a Philippine frigate, floats wounded, her hull freshly scraped. Just 500 yards off, the Chinese CCG 5203 blares its horn, edging closer. One wrong move, and you've got steel grinding steel. The next decision could mean the difference between a tense standoff or an all-out incident. From above, Scarborough Shoal looks peaceful, a calm ring of reefs and sandbars. But its position? Critical. It straddles shipping routes that fuel Asian factories and fill American store shelves. Oil tankers, grain carriers, and container ships pass here daily. Control over this tiny patch of ocean, that means economic leverage. And even whispers of danger spike insurance rates, forcing costly detours. For China, Scarborough is non-negotiable, tied to national pride and sovereignty. For the Philippines, it's vital fishing grounds and legal maritime rights. For the US, it's about credibility, the right to keep international waters open for all. Back on the Reagan, radar locks onto a Chinese destroyer. It's moving fast, heading straight for the Gregorio del Pilar. Alarms flare again. Suddenly, the CCG 5203 cuts across the Philippine ship's bow, just 50 yards apart. Hulls groan. Orders fly in both Tagalog and English. And for a second, even the sea seems to hold its breath. The American captain gives the order. Defensive posture only, no escalation. But the response is immediate. 2 J-11Bs roar up, diving across the Reagan's flight deck at supersonic speed. The shockwave rattles the bridge. Pilots swap warnings over open comms. "You are too close. Back off." Neither side blinks. Below the surface, the Poseidon sonar operator spots something. "Possible subsurface contact," he reports. Moments later, the Y-8Q drops sonobuoys. They're tracking undersea too. The carrier group tightens up. Destroyers closing ranks. Anti-sub helicopters spool up, rotor blades chopping the humid air. Across encrypted channels, US and Philippine commanders coordinate, hold fire, record everything. From the Reagan, a drone launches, streaming live back to Pacific Command. Half a world away, analysts lean in. The tension is real. Every second counts. Then it happens. The Chinese see CG 5000-. 203 drifts too close. Its hull scrapes the side of the Gregorio del Pilar. Sparks fly. The Philippine frigate lurches. Water floods a forward compartment. Crews scramble to contain the damage. "Minor hull damage," the Reagan's captain reports. His voice is steady, but his grip on the console says otherwise. From across the waves, a Chinese loudspeaker crackles. "Leave now, or responsibility is yours." For a moment, time stops. 3 nations, 3 crews, all waiting to see who flinches first. Up on the flight deck, FA-18's circle low on fuel, engines whining, waiting for the green light. The captain's eyes stay locked on the tactical screen. "No shots," he says quietly. "Not yet. The first collision has happened." The real threat now. What comes next? The sea holds its breath. Every sonar ping, every flicker on radar feels like a lit fuse. 3:10 p.m. turns darker. Storm clouds gather. The Reagan shifts 10 degrees east. A subtle move to reduce its target profile. It won't stop a missile, but it might buy a few precious seconds. And in a standoff like this, seconds are survival. The Chinese Type 052D destroyer keeps pressing in. Its deck guns rise, not firing, just aiming. On the Reagan's bridge, radar techs whisper updates. Fingers hover over consoles. Target lock detected. Everyone freezes. Overhead, the Poseidon recon plane circles, feeding live data to Fleet Command. Then a flicker. The Chinese destroyer powers down its radar. A warning, not an attack. But the tension? It's razor wire tight. Aboard the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, Filipino sailors weld steel and pump seawater. Their ship lists slightly, fighting to hold position. Nearby, the Chinese CCG 5000-203 flashes coded lights. Way too close for comfort. One misstep. "Chinese vessel, alter course," comes the radio call. Silence. Then a voice replies. Calm. Firm. "We will not change." Back on the Reagan, the tactical officer suggests readying CIWS guns. The last line of defense. The captain shakes his head. That's what they want. Not yet. Every action now is a chess move. Every second, a gamble. Crews on both sides can see each other through binoculars. The ocean is vast, but the space between them feels tight enough to cut. Suddenly, the Y-8Q surveillance plane drops more sonobuoys, right behind the US destroyer screen. "They're painting us underwater," an operator calls out. Anti-sub helicopters spin up, blades slicing the air. Sensors sweep the waves. The radio comes alive with a burst of chatter. Coordinates, depth estimates, warnings. But no one fires, because everyone knows. The first shot decides everything. Lightning splits the horizon. Thunder rolls across the sea like distant artillery. Crew members flinch. Eyes on every screen. From Washington to Beijing, leaders are watching in real time, waiting for a decision. Or a mistake. Out here, there are no press conferences, no politics. Just human beings staring down the barrel of escalation. Who moves first? The one holding the line? Or the one daring them to move? 3:35 p.m. The next blow doesn't come from a missile. It comes from silence. Radar screens on the Reagan flicker, then blackout. "We're being jammed," the comms officer yells. The standoff is over. This is the beginning of something else. New blips appear on sensors. Fast, low, small, surface drones, metal gray, zipping across the waves. Too quick for a clean radar lock, too agile for guns to track. China hasn't fired a shot, but it's changed the rules. The Type 052D cuts its engines. The CCG 5203 slides away, revealing a clear path to the Gregorio del Pilar. 6 drones shoot through the gap, wakes boil behind them. The Philippine ship can't steer, still damaged. "Request permission to engage," the Filipino captain radios. The reply comes from the Reagan. "Granted." Defensive fire, only cannons roar. 2 drones explode in fireballs. The other 4 keep coming, weaving through smoke and salt spray. FA-18S launch from the Reagan's deck. Engines scream across the sky. One jet dumps flares. Bright flashes momentarily blind enemy sensors. Explosions rock the water. Pillars of spray erupt like geysers. Then, more jamming. Radio comms cut out mid-command. Voices fizzle. Orders vanish in static. "They're testing us," the Reagan's captain mutters. "Not to kill, to see how far we'll go." He stares at the radar. Ghosts dancing in and out of signal. Twilight sets the sea glowing orange. Smoke rolls along the horizon like mist from a battlefield. No missiles, no declarations, just drones and silence. 3:50 p.m. The storm finally breaks loose. The sea churns wild, wind whipping salty spray across the decks. On the USS Ronald Reagan, alarms scream again. Urgent, relentless. Multiple drones inbound, bearing 090. The radar operator calls out. This time, they're faster, a swarm of real targets tangled with electronic ghosts, half real, half decoys. The captain's voice cuts through the chaos. "Deploy CIWS, all systems hot." Defensive guns spin up, roaring like jet turbines. Tracers blaze through the stormy sky, carving lines of fire across the horizon. 2 drones vanish in blasts of seawater and smoke, but one slips through, closing fast. On the Gregorio del Pilar, power flickers. The crew reloads manually, shouting over engine noise and crashing waves. The Chinese CCG-5203 swings in again, her hull gleaming through sheets of rain, dangerously close. Filipino sailors peer through binoculars, faces visible on the enemy deck. No one fires, but fingers hover tight on triggers. Above, FA-18S dive from the clouds, targeting the last cluster of drones. Missiles flare. One finds its mark. The explosion lights up the shoal like daylight. Another jet banks hard to dodge debris. Seawater slams against its canopy. Every move feels like teetering on the edge of chaos. Then, for a split second, radar flares red. "Type 52D locked on!" someone yells. Silence falls, a heartbeat stretched too long. The Reagan shifts course, countermeasures armed, fingers poised over authorization keys, but no missiles launch. The lock drops, a warning, plain and clear. We could fire, but we won't. Lightning flashes again, illuminating ships now drifting less than half a mile apart. The storm cloaks them from satellites, but not from each other. Commanders on both sides make the same call. Disengage before this turns into a global disaster. Engines roar, hulls pivot, distance grows. On the Gregorio del Pilar, pumps finally win the fight against flooding. Watertight doors hold strong. In the air, the Poseidon reconnects cleanly to the carrier. The last ghost contact fades into rain and static. Crews exhale, hands still trembling on cold steel. When calm finally returns, all that's left are foam trails and drifting smoke. No lives lost, no clear victor. But in every command room, one thought echoes. Next time, someone will push too far. 5:20 p.m. The storm fades. The South China Sea shimmers under pale light as waves settle around Scarborough Shoal. Scars remain, dense in steel, fuel slicks on the water, and the heavy silence after nearly going to war. On the Gregorio del Pilar, sailors rest on deck, helmets off, eyes hollow from hours of tension. Pumps hum below, still fighting. Farther out, the USS Ronald Reagan holds position. Crews scan empty radar screens as if daring ghosts to reappear. Beijing announces, "Our patrol mission complete." Washington responds, "Freedom of navigation will continue." 2 nations, 2 narratives, neither backing down, both claiming control. Markets twitch on the headlines. Shipping lanes widen just enough to whisper that the sea is anything but calm. Insurance premiums creep higher. Captains file new waypoints, rerouting around the reef, paying in extra time and fuel. Analysts call it a draw, but those on deck know the truth. The Philippines kept its flag flying. The US stood firm without firing a shot. China pushed hard, but stopped short of crossing the line. Each side walks away convinced they won. And that guarantee, the next clash is only a matter of time. By midnight, the sea is quiet, but radio waves still hum with new coordinates. Drones patrol again, tracking every shadow. Capitals hold late-night briefings, planning for a showdown that already feels inevitable. Scarborough Shoal remains unchanged, silent, windswept, surrounded by ambitions way bigger than its size. For now, peace hangs by a thread. One storm, one wrong decision, and the world could watch a fight born from these waters. Ships fade into the distance, further apart, but not for long. And as footage spreads worldwide, one question lingers. Who really won tonight? The side that stood their ground, or the side that stepped back first? Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest updates. Stay alert.